It's Queezzy, baby. Welcome back to the channel. All right. So today I'm going to discuss what documents you need for a North Carolina identification card. Before we get started, let me state my disclaimer. I do not speak for the state of North Carolina, nor do I represent any North Carolina agency. The information provided is for general and educational purposes only. All information given is based on North Carolina DMV website, my own personal experience, and eyewitness accounts. Okay. So, yesterday was the last day that anybody could go to the DMV on Saturday to be assisted. Okay, so that has now ended. No more Saturdays. Okay, yesterday was the last day. August 23rd was the last day that any of us could go to the DMV on a Saturday. That has now come to an end. So as they've done previously, I'm assuming that next summer they will be open up from June to August, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. next summer, like they have in the past. So again, yesterday was the last day that any of us could go to the DMV to get anything done. All right, so if you want to get a North Carolina identification card, the documents that you will need will be a certified birth certificate. A certified birth certificate if you are a citizen of the United States. I'm going to say it again. If you are a citizen of the United States, then you need a certified birth certificate and a Social Security card and one piece of mail in your name with your current address. Okay. The birth certificate must have a raised seal on it. They will not accept any copies of birth certificates or Social Security cards. They will not accept any birth certificates and Social Security cards that are copies. It must be original. To get a ID card, just a basic ID card if you are an adult. If you are a child or a parent of a child trying to get a child a North Carolina identification card and they are a citizen, they will need the same documents: a certified birth certificate, a Social Security card, and one piece of mail in their name reflecting their current address. North Carolina DMV will not accept the mother's copy. The mother's copy is that flimsy looking white piece of paper that says at the top mother's copy. That is not a birth certificate. They will not take birth registration cards. Okay, it must say birth certificate and it must be certified. Okay, the mail can be a lease, your utility bill, your cell phone bill, whatever type of mail that comes in your name that's addressed to you with your home address on it can be used as proof of address if you are an adult. If you are a child trying to get an ID card, you can print out your child's unofficial transcript from school offline, or you can bring in their doctor's bill or something that has their name on it, that has their name and address on it that's being mailed to them will qualify. If you don't have any mail in your name, then you will pay $2 for the mail affidavit fee. Okay? You will pay $2 for the mail affidavit fee if you don't have any mail in your name. If you are 17 years of age or older, the North Carolina ID card will be free. If you are 17 years of age and older, the North Carolina ID card will be free because of the voter registration law. When they came out with the voter registration law, they said that all ID cards will be free to anyone that is 17 years of age or older. If you are 16 years of age or younger, then you will pay $16.75 for the ID card. I'm going to say it again. If you are 16 years of age or younger, you're going to pay $16.75 for the ID card. All right. If you don't have a birth certificate and you're trying to get an identification card, then you need to present a valid passport. You need to present a valid passport. This means this passport cannot be expired. It cannot be expired. You can present this valid passport and a social security card and one piece of mail in your name. Okay? If you don't have a birth certificate or don't have access to your birth certificate. Let's say you lost your social security card, or your social security card was destroyed or is not in good shape. There's only two options you can use. You can use a 1099 or a W-2. Okay? North Carolina will accept a 1099 or a W-2 showing your entire social security number on those forms. Okay? North Carolina will not accept a 1040. Okay? They will only accept a 1099 or a W-2 in place of a social security card. Okay? So the entire social security number must be shown, because if you think about it, you're using the W-2 or the 1099 in place of the social security card. Okay? So if you've lost your social security card, you can use a 1099 or a W-2 that comes in your tax documents. Now, for a child, if you don't have your child's social security card, they won't have a 1099 or a W-2 because they haven't started working yet. So their only option is they can bring their birth certificate or a valid passport in addition to a official transcript from their school. I'm going to say it again. If you don't have your child's social security card, you can bring in their birth certificate with an official transcript from the school, or you can bring in a passport and a official transcript from the school. Now, what do I mean by official transcript from the school? It means it's a transcript that has been signed by the school principal. The school seal has been stamped on it. It's been placed in an envelope. That's what makes it official. So you have to go to your kid's school and go to the office and request for the official transcript, signed by the principal, stamped by the principal, placed in an envelope. And you will take that to the DMV along with their birth certificate or their passport. And then you can verbally tell those examiners what your child's social security number is. Okay? I'm going to say it for you again. If you don't have your child's social security number, You can get an official transcript from the school and bring in their birth certificate with that, or a valid passport with that, and verbally tell the examiners what the social security number is. Okay, that's only for people who are citizens. Okay, and then of course you will bring in one piece of mail, but usually the transcript will have your child's name and address on it, so you can use that as proof of address too, in addition to being a primary document. Because in North Carolina, if you've never had an ID, learner's permit, or driver's license, or CDLs, you must bring in 2 primary documents. And those primary documents are passports, birth certificates, official transcripts from schools. Okay. Now let's say you want an identification card and you want to add the Real ID star onto that identification card. Okay. Well, what you would need would still be a birth certificate or a valid passport and your social security card, or a W-2 or 1099 showing the entire social security number, and 2 pieces of mail in order to get the Real ID star added onto the identification card. So you would need to bring in a lease and a utility bill, or you would need to bring in a lease and your official transcript, okay, in order to get this Real ID star added onto your credential, the federal star. All right. So, what if you are not a citizen and you just want an ID card? If you are not a citizen and you want an ID card, that means you are an immigrant. You are from another country and you just want an identification card. Okay. From my research and from talking to family and friends that are not citizens in this country, you would need, it just depends on what immigration documents you have that allows you to be here in this country. So, if you are an immigrant and you're trying to get an identification card, and you have a permanent resident card, also known as a green card, then you bring that green card in. If you have been issued a social security card, you will bring that with you too, if you are an immigrant. Now, not all immigrants qualify for a social security card, and that's okay. But if you've been issued one, you'll bring your permanent resident card and a green card. You'll bring your permanent resident card, also known as a green card, and your social security card, and 1 piece of mail in your name with your current address. Again, that can be your lease, a phone bill, a utility bill, a doctor's bill, whatever you have, whatever type of mail that you have that's in your name with your current address. Okay, in order to get a identification card. Now, if you want to add the federal Real ID star onto your identification card and you are an immigrant, then you need to bring your permanent resident card, which is also known as the green card, social security card if you've been issued one, and 2 pieces of mail in your name showing your current address. Okay? If you are an immigrant trying to get an identification card and you have an employment authorization card, that's that red card that gives you permission to work in this country, then you will bring that and a social security card if you've been issued one, and 1 piece of mail in your name with your current address. Now, if you want to get the Real ID star added onto your identification card, then you need to bring that EAD card, employment authorization card, social security card if you've been issued one, and 2 pieces of mail in your name with your current address. If you have documents that's called J1, J2, F1, F2, and you're trying to get an identification card, then you need to bring that J1, J2, or that F1, F2 along with an I-94 printed out. All documents must be printed out. Okay? I'm going to say it again. If you are an immigrant and you have a J1, J2, F1, F2, or you are a H-1B, you need to bring either you need to bring a J1, J2, F1, F2, and an I-94. If you are an H-1B, then you need to bring your I-94 and your passport. Now, if you are J1, J2, F1, F2, you got to bring your passport as well. Okay? So if you are an immigrant trying to get an ID card and you are H-1B, you need to bring your I-94 and passport. Social security card if you've been issued one. If not, don't worry about it. If you are an immigrant and you're on a J1, J2, F1, F2, you got to bring those documents printed out. I-94, passport, social security card if you've been issued one. And 1 piece of mail in your name with your current address. It can be your lease, utility bill, cell phone bill, etc. Okay? There's a lot of immigration documents that's out there, but those are just a few of the ones that I'm familiar with based on my family and friends who are not citizens in this country. All right? So for my immigrants, I'm going to say it for you again. If you have a J1, J2, F1, F2, bring those documents printed along with your I-94 printed, your passport, and social security card if you've been issued one. If you have not been issued a social security card, don't worry about it. The DMV of North Carolina will still be able to help you, okay? And a piece of mail in your name. All right? Green card, employment authorization card, same deal. All right? If you're J1, J2, F2, I-94, H-1B, bring your passport as well. Now, if you are a J1, J2, F1, F2, and you want to get an identification card and you want to add the real ID star, that federal star, onto your identification card, this is where it gets a little tricky, a little confusing, a little dicey, okay? You still have to bring your J1, J2, F1, F2, and a valid foreign passport, but here's where it gets tricky. When you flip through your foreign passport, and you find a visa in there, that visa has to be current. It cannot be expired inside of that passport, because if it is, then you will not qualify for the federal real ID star. You can get a basic regular ID card, but you will not have that federal star on there, because again, your foreign passport has to be current, and when you flip through that foreign passport and you find your visa must be current. It cannot be expired. Okay? If you flip through your foreign passport and you don't have a visa inside of it because it's new, you will not qualify to get the federal star added onto your identification card. But you will be able to get a regular basic identification card. Okay? Same thing with you H-1Bs. You will bring your I-94 in and your valid foreign passport. When you flip through your passport and you find your visa, H-1Bs, as long as your visa has not expired, you will get the star added onto your identification card. But if it's expired, you will not get it. If you flip through your passport H-1Bs and you discover that you don't have a visa in that passport because it's new, you will not get the real ID star added onto your identification card. You too will get a regular North Carolina ID card, okay? And you all must bring 2 pieces of mail. So if you have a valid foreign passport and your visa is current and you want to add that real ID star onto your identification card, then you need to bring 2 pieces of mail as well. If you are coming from out of state with a identification card from another state, identification cards from other states do not transfer, okay? They will not transfer, but North Carolina will accept it. They just won't transfer. So let's say you got a out-of-state ID card. You've never had a license, don't want one, never had a learner's permit, don't want one. You just want an ID card because you don't plan on driving. And you coming from Texas with your out-of-state ID. You will bring that Texas identification card with you, your Social Security card, and 1 piece of mail in your name to just get a basic regular identification card. Now, if you're coming from out of state with an ID card and you don't plan on driving and you have lost your Social Security card, that same rule applies to you too. Then you can use a W-2 or 1099 showing your entire Social Security number, print it out, and you can take that to the DMV in order to get a North Carolina identification card if you're coming from another state and you don't plan on ever driving. Okay, or you just need an identification card right now, and then later you'll work on getting a learner's permit or a license. Okay, so out-of-state transfer ID cards, that is what you need. You need to bring that identification card, Social Security card, or a W-2 or a 1099 printed showing the entire Social Security number, and 1 piece of mail in your name to just get a basic North Carolina identification card. Let's say you're coming from out of state and you have an identification card and you want to get a North Carolina ID, but you want to add that federal real ID star onto that identification card. Well, these are the documents you would need. You would need that out-of-state identification card, a Social Security card, or a 1099 or W-2 printed showing that entire Social Security number. You would need 2 pieces of mail in your name that can be your lease, printed out, your cell phone, printed out, your utility bill, printed out, and etc. And then you would need to bring a certified birth certificate in order to get that federal star added onto your identification card, or a valid passport. Let's say you're coming from out of state with an ID card and you're just trying to get a regular, just trying to get a North Carolina identification card. And you already have the real ID star on your identification card. Okay. What you would need will be that physical identification card from out of state, your Social Security card, or a 1099 or W-2 printed showing the entire social security number. Okay? And 2 pieces of mail in your name, so that that star that's already on your out-of-state identification card will transfer over to North Carolina and be on your North Carolina identification card. Okay? So, something else I forgot to mention, that with these birth certificates and these passports and these social security numbers, or social security cards rather, you need to make sure the names are matching. All right? So, for example, if you have 3 names on your birth certificate and only 2 names on your social security card, that is not matching. North Carolina will not issue you a credential. So that means you would need to go to Social Security and have them put all 3 of your names on your social security card, so that you will be eligible to get a credential and identification card here in North Carolina. North Carolina is a full name state. Okay? If you got 4 names on your passport, but only have 3 on your social security card, that is not matching. Okay? And especially if this is your first time being issued any type of credential from North Carolina, your names must be identical. They must be twinning. They must match. Okay? If you've already been established, then you ain't got to worry about that. But if you're trying to get established in this state, getting a first-time identification card in this state, your names must match. If there's 4 names on that birth certificate, there needs to be 4 names on that social security card. If there's 4 names on that passport, there needs to be 4 names on that social security card. Okay? If you're coming from out of state with an identification card and you got 5 names on that identification card and 2 names on that social security card, the state of North Carolina will not issue you an identification card. Because if you got 5 names on your out-of-state identification card, you need to have 5 names on that social security card. North Carolina is a full name state. Okay? They want all your names on your primary documents. Okay? Primary documents, social security cards, official transcripts, birth certificates, passports, marriage certificates. Those are primary documents. Okay? If you have on your birth certificate Jane Samantha Smith, but on your social security card you have Jane Brittany Smith, that isn't matching. Your names are not twinning. You're not identical. Okay? And the same can be said for a passport. If you got Jane Samantha Smith on your passport and then have Jane Brittany Smith on your social security card, that's not matching. The state of North Carolina will not issue you a identification card if your names are not matching. You got to have the same names up there and the same number of names, okay, on these primary documents. Or else they would turn you away and tell you where you need to go to update your names on these documents. Okay? So again, whether you are a citizen or not, if you are 17 years of age or older, the identification card will be free. If you are 16 years of age and younger, you will pay $16.75 for an identification card. Okay? So, let's recap. Names got to match. You got to have the same number of names on one document that you have on the other. If you are a citizen, you need a birth certificate, social security card, or a printed W-2 or 1099 showing the entire social security number, and one piece of mail in your name, or two if you're trying to get the real ID star. Same thing if you're a citizen with a valid passport. You need a valid passport, social security card, or W-2 or 1099 showing your entire social security number, and one piece of mail, or two pieces of mail if you're trying to add the real ID star. If you are a foreigner in this country, you are an immigrant, and you're trying to get an identification card, all right, you need your immigration documents. That can be your green card, your employment authorization card, along with a social security card if you've been issued one. If not, don't worry about it. And one piece of mail in your name. If you're trying to add the real ID star, you will need two pieces of mail in your name. All right. If you are an immigrant and you got a J1, J2, F1, F2, you need that, plus your foreign passport, plus your I-94, and one piece of mail in your name. If you're trying to add the real ID star, then you need two pieces of mail in your name. Your foreign passport needs to be current, and the visa inside of that foreign passport needs to be current in order to get the real ID star. If you are H-1B, you need your I-94 and a valid passport, social security card if you've been issued one. If not, don't worry about it, and one piece of mail in your name. If you want to add the real ID star, you need two pieces of mail in your name, and your passport, your foreign passport needs to be valid, and inside of it, the visa inside of that foreign passport needs to be valid as well. If it's expired, you won't get the star, okay? If you don't have a visa inside of your new passport, you will not get the star. You will just get a regular basic identification card, all right? Okay. So that's all the information that I have for you all regarding the documents that's needed for citizens seeking a identification card, and the documents needed for people who are not citizens trying to get an ID card and real ID. All right. So hopefully my next video, I'll be talking about how to obtain a North Carolina driver's license, whether you are a citizen or not, and whether you're coming from out of state or not, trying to get a North Carolina driver's license. So stay tuned. When I get updates, y'all will get updates. I try to keep you informed about the latest information with the North Carolina DMV and what documents are needed and different things like that. I thank you all so much for tuning in. Y'all stay safe out there. Be blessed. Peace.